Okay, let's unpack this. We're diving into St. Petersburg today, really getting into its cultural heart. The sources you sent over, they paint this really compelling picture, like a city sort of living in two times at once. You've got the massive imperial history, the grandeur, but also this really vibrant modern energy happening right now.
That's exactly it. I mean, when people think St. Petersburg, they usually picture the gold palaces from the 18th century. But what the sources show and what makes it so fascinating is how it manages this juxtaposition. It holds on to its history, sure, but it's also like actively making space for contemporary culture, even grassroots stuff.
Yeah, and that's really our mission for this deep dive, isn't it? To explore that duality. We want to take you on a journey kind of from the huge famous museums with priceless art all the way down to these like tiny experimental spaces, little basement galleries, that kind of thing.
Right, where artists are literally carving out maybe 4 square meters for their work. It's amazing.
So the plan is, start with the big historical anchors everyone knows, then dig into the city's literary side, its soul, maybe, and finally look at how today's artists are making their mark.
And you have to start with the Hermitage, the State Hermitage Museum. It's just a behemoth. Most people think Winter Palace, and that's huge, obviously, but the collection is so vast, it needs a whole network of buildings.
Exactly. It's not just one spot. It's like a campus.
Yeah.
You've got the main complex, but also places like the Menshikov Palace, Peter the Great's Winter Palace, and, importantly, the General Staff Building.
The General Staff Building is crucial. That addition wasn't just for more storage, it was a really strategic move. They needed modern gallery space, specifically designed for the 19th and 20th century collections. So architecturally, it's this amazing counterpoint to the old palace.
So it lets the Hermitage be both things at once, this incredible imperial treasure chest and a place for modern art.
Precisely. It bridges the gap.
It's a lifetime's worth of art, really. Just quickly, for anyone planning a trip, remember, it's closed Mondays, New Year's Day, and May 9th. Good to know.
Okay, so moving from visual art to performance, the Mariinsky Theater, this place is just steeped in history. You could argue a lot of Russian cultural identity was sort of forged right there.
Its history goes way back. There was a decree, I think, in 1783, setting up a theater committee. And that led to the first Bolshoi stone theater on what's now Theater Square.
And that stage, it's legendary, not just for who performed there, but because it basically created legends. Singers like Fyodor Telyapin, and the ballet dancers who just changed everything. Chesestinska, Pavlova, Nijinsky.
Wow, yeah. And later on, Nureyev and Baryshnikov, too. It's like a continuous roll call of greats.
Absolutely. And it was pivotal for Russian opera. Glinka's big ones, A Life for the Tsar, and Ruslan and Ludmilla, they both premiered there.
On the same date, wasn't it? November 27th, just 6 years apart. That's amazing. Talk about cementing your status.
Exactly. It became the place for the Russian musical voice. But maybe the biggest impact, especially globally, came from ballet under Marius Petipa. He took over in 1869.
The Petipa and Tchaikovsky connection.
Yes. That collaboration gave us The Sleeping Beauty and The Nutcracker. I mean, when you watch classical ballet pretty much anywhere today, you're seeing the legacy that started right there on the Mariinsky stage.
So you have these incredible physical landmarks, the Hermitage, the Mariinsky, shaping the city from the outside. But what about its inner life, its identity in literature? This is where it gets really interesting for me.
Oh, definitely. St. Petersburg in literature. It's often more than just a setting, isn't it? It's practically a character itself. Dostoevsky especially, he saw it as his city. Crime and Punishment, Notes from Underground. The city feels almost suffocating in those books.
And he had that famous line, didn't he? Calling it the most deliberate city in the world. Sounds kind of ominous. What did he mean by deliberate?
Well, think about how it was founded. Peter the Great basically willed it into existence on a swamp. It wasn't a city that grew organically over centuries.
Right, it was imposed.
Exactly. So deliberate speaks to that artificiality. It's man-made, rational, planned, maybe even against nature. Dostoevsky often wrote about that tension, that conflict between water and stone, nature versus this imposed artificial order. The city represents an idea.
That's a powerful concept.
Yes.
And speaking of the city's atmosphere, there's that unique time of year.
Yeah.
The White Nights becomes a whole cultural event itself.
The White Nights Festival, yeah. It celebrates that period, roughly late April to late August, when it never gets completely dark. Because it's so far north, you get this amazing twilight glow all night long.
And the festival is huge, right? There's the Stars of the White Nights, classical music festival. Valery Gergiev has been the artistic director since, 93?
That's right, a major international event. But the real spectacle, the thing everyone talks about, is the Scarlet Sails celebration.
Ah, I've seen pictures of that.
It's incredible. A huge public show on the Neva River, fireworks everywhere, and this tall ship with bright red sails appears. It traditionally marks the end of the school year. It's pure magic, mixing that weird northern light with this massive civic party.
Okay, so let's connect that back to the city's physical spaces. How does St. Petersburg use its architecture, its buildings, to bridge that gap between the historical deliberate city and modern life, modern fun?
New Holland Island is probably the perfect example. It's this artificial island. Peter the Great created it for storing timber for ships, stuff like that. It was closed off to the public for centuries.
And
now it's this super popular public park and cultural space. Totally transformed.
it's fascinating how they do that, repurposing these old, sometimes kind of grim utilitarian places, like the Bottle building there. They used to be a naval jail, right? Around 3-story jail.
Yeah. And now, filled with cool design shops, little restaurants, artist studios, this whole trend of taking over old industrial sites or even jails and turning them into cultural hubs, it's a huge theme in contemporary Russia. It's like the city is reclaiming its past, turning rigidity into something fluid and creative.
It sends a strong message.
Okay.
On a different scale, but still about spectacle. There's Grand Macket, Russia.
Ah, the giant model railway. But it's so much more than that.
Right. It's not just trains. It's like a miniature version of the entire country, 800 square meters. An incredible feat of engineering and art.
The detail is just mind-blowing. They say there are 115,000 little figures, hundreds of tiny cars and trains moving around, loads of little scenes playing out.
And you can interact with it.
Yeah, there's something like 73 buttons you can push to make things happen in the model. Lights turn on, windmills spin, that kind of thing.
Plus, it runs on a day-night cycle every 15 minutes, using hundreds of thousands of LEDs. It's this cool blend of high-tech engineering and something really fun and accessible for families.
Yeah.
Okay, let's shift gears completely now. Let's talk contemporary art, specifically Rarta. If someone's visited the Hermitage, with all its history, what's the experience like walking into a 5-floor museum totally dedicated to contemporary art?
It's a whole different world. Rarta, the name, means era of art. It's Russia's largest private contemporary museum. Massive place, 12,000 square meters. And its whole philosophy is different. It's not just about preserving art, it's about making it accessible. Their stated goal is to share a love for contemporary art because they believe it helps people grow, helps with self-development.
And it seems to be working. They've got, 2,800 works by over 300 artists. And they're ranked super high on TripAdvisor for Russian museums.
Yeah, they're incredibly popular. But it's the way they present the art that really emphasizes that accessibility message. They really push back against the idea that you just passively look at art on a wall.
Like the unique stuff they offer.
Exactly. Things like U-Space. These are small themed rooms you go into for about 10 minutes. They're designed as total sensory immersions to make you feel specific emotions.
Interesting. And the theater thing.
The theater with no actors, it's brilliant. They use multimedia projections to bring characters from paintings to life, acting out little plays.
Wow. And they even use humor, right?
Yeah.
I read about this cartoon series, The Adventures of B.B. Square, based on Malevich's Black Square.
Yes. It's got millions of views online. It's such a clever way to say, hey, contemporary art doesn't have to be scary or serious. It can be fun. It can be relatable.
That's a really direct way to break down barriers.